What's up guys, welcome back to the build series. As you can see, we get a lot done in this video. We're going to be installing 3 doors, one on each side. We're adding a skirt to around the base and then this awning. So let's get to it. Real quick, I want to mention something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. Now, I've been adamant about helping others with their build, but I got to thinking that the YouTube comment section probably isn't the best way to help. You know, as time goes on and I make more and more videos, it's really hard to answer every comment that comes through. So what I've done is I've created a private Facebook group. The link is in the description below. But the idea is to create a place where members can post like progress pictures of their build, ask specific questions with like pictures or videos attached, and then a place where we can all like come together and help each other out. My favorite comments in the YouTube comment section have been like, why didn't you do it this way, or why don't you do it this way next time? And the reason I like those questions is because I know I'm not building this thing the most perfect way possible. I'm just showing you guys what has worked for me. But I really like that collaboration aspect, and hopefully over time we can build this community and we can help each other out build better and better rooftop tents. Now I know this will take time to build this community up, but you got to start somewhere. So if you're interested at all in building a rooftop tent, maybe you've already built one and want to help others out, or maybe you're not ready to build and you just want to follow along, please follow the link. Join the group. Let's build this community and let's try to help each other out with our builds. So with that being said, let's get back to the build. Good. All right, this next part is really nerve-wracking to me because I feel like I'm going to screw this all up. I got to figure out where I want my door. I think what I'm going to do is just make this whole back section from top to bottom. I'm going to cut that out and put zippers in so this whole top piece can be opened up. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just measure 36 inches across the bottom and the top, and then using painter's tape do 2 parallel lines and then cut the fabric off those lines, and then after we're cut we'll start sewing in our zippers. Alright, here are my parallel lines that I have marked for the door that'll go here in the back center. I brought them in. I went with 33 inches across here, so I brought in my size a little bit. Now your lines don't have to be perfect, but you want to get them as parallel as you can get them, so just so it doesn't look bad. But I think this looks pretty good for me. So yeah, the next part is the part that makes me really nervous, is to cut our back door out. Alright, it's time to break out the scissors and make our first cut. Alright, look at this massive door that we just cut out. I think this will be really great, especially during the summertime when you need a lot of ventilation. So what we're going to do with the fabric that we just cut out is, just like we did along the sides, the edges we're going to do a 1/2 inch along this edge. We're going to do a 1/2 inch hem, just like we did down here. We're going to add in a zipper, so let me show you what that's going to look like. Guys, we're back inside the shop with the sewing machine, and I'm going to try my hardest to show you guys how to sew in a zipper. It's really not that bad, y'all just bear with me. What we're going to be doing is putting in a hidden zipper, so you won't be able to see the zipper from the outside, hopefully. So before we start, I'm going to go over a couple things that you're going to need to do this. So the next thing you're gonna need is zippers. This is a 100-foot sleeping bag zipper, which I really like because it's so long and it's got a zipper pull on both sides, which is important for a tent because you got to get in and out of it. The other thing you're going to need is this double-sided fabric tape, basting tape. This is really handy. I showed you guys this in the last video. And so yeah, I think that's about it. Now we have, this is the piece of fabric that we cut out of the tent, and you want to be conscious of which side you're choosing to be on the outside of the tent and which side you want to be on the inside. So if you need to put a piece of tape on your fabric right inside and then on the other side right outside just to keep track of it, do that, because you don't want to do one hem one direction and then another hem the opposite direction. It would just look really bad. So so this is going to be the inside of the tent, and then this will be the outside. I know that. All my folds go to the inside of the tent, just like this. The inside is where all your raw edges will be, and then the outside will be really clean. So what I did was I took our piece that we cut out, I marked a 1/2 inch line down both sides, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our basting tape just like before when we did the hem, run along our line, and then fold on that line to get our to start with this hem. So I'm going to get my tape on my lines and then go from there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our zipper, and we are going to find bottom on our piece of fabric, which is where we made our first hem right here. And then we are going to find bottom on our zipper, which are these two ends. Zipper comes down here, stops. This is our material that we just made that 1/2 inch fold with. Since this is a double-sided zipper, it doesn't really matter which side of the zipper you use for this. But the main thing is to make sure your teeth are facing outwards. Obviously you don't want it facing back this way. So we're gonna use our basting tape, put some double-sided tape on the back side of this, and then we're gonna stick it to our material. But we don't want the teeth to show at all from the outside. This is the inside piece, so we want those teeth to be kind of tucked in right there behind the fabric, not over here. You want them just like that. And we're going to do the same thing for the other side of the fabric, so that once this zips up you won't be able to see this zipper, and it'll protect it from wind and rain and things like that. So just wanted to show you guys that. Also, it doesn't really matter where you start on the zipper. You can cut these zippers down, so as long as you have plenty of zipper that way, it doesn't matter. You could start right there if you want to. I like to be able to zip my whole piece down, so I don't want it to hit that stopper. So I usually pull the zipper past a little bit, and then we can make a cut, and I'll show you how to make a zipper stop a little later on. So let's get our basting tape on our zipper and get that stuck to our material. Close up of how we have it. You can see our edge, our teeth are hidden just a little bit with our little bit of overhang, so you can't even see it. Won't be able to see the teeth at all, hopefully. Now I'm gonna leave my excess zipper connected. It'll just help us when we go to sew in the other side. Just help us keep it aligned. So it's not gonna hurt anything if you take it apart. I just like to leave it together. It just makes things easier. We'll just move it out of the way. We're about to get it in the machine and start sewing. our zipper is on. Let's get this in the machine and make our first stitch. Alright, for this step I am going to be using what's called a zipper foot. I'm going to be taking off their standard presser foot and putting on what's called a zipper foot. This just allows, you could probably get away without this, but this just allows you to get closer, allows you to stitch closer to the edge of your teeth, like that. This rides on top of the teeth. Just allows it to feed really well, and allows you to get a good, nice stitch right close to the teeth. If you use a regular foot or presser foot, you're going to be further out here. So this just ensures that I'm hitting both pieces of fabric and getting my zipper sewn in. So you can probably get away without a zipper foot, but I highly recommend them. They're just nice to have, and they make this job easier. Alright, we got our, well, one side of a zipper in. This looks awesome. Check it out. You can't see it on one side, and then you can see it right there. This looks really clean. This is my excess coming out the back. We'll clean up that. We'll cut off this little tab. It looks really good. Alright, now that we have half a zipper on this side, we're going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. We're going to do our 1/2 inch fold, tape that down, then we're going to grab another zipper. Remember, we need 2 zippers for this one door. We're going to grab another zipper, put our tape on it, and then get it stuck to our fabric just like we did on this side. Okay, I zipped my 2 sides together just to give you an idea of what it'll look like once we have the other side of the zipper installed on the tent fabric. So what I was talking about with that hidden zipper is if we zip this up, you know, those folds, those hems that we made are what hides our zipper on the inside. So I think this looks really nice. In hindsight, I probably should have told you to align the teeth up a little closer, closer to the edge, maybe a little overlap, so that these folds kind of are more like this instead of on top of each other. But this still looks really nice. I like the way that it is. I'm not going to change anything. I think this will be a good protection from rain and wind and whatnot. So, all right, moving on. Alright guys, now that we have our zipper on our door, we need to get the other side of the zipper mounted to these sides. Now we're going to do this the exact same way that we did our door. We're going to take this off. We're going to make a 1/2 inch fold with our double-sided tape. We'll stick the zipper to it and then make our stitch. Now you're probably realizing at this point that we did 1/2 inch on each side of this, and then we're going to be doing 1/2 inch here and here. So we will have to readjust all the fabric once the zippers are sewn in. That's just part of the way that we're going to put this thing together. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of my sides off and get it inside so I can start sewing my zipper in. Alright, quick note. This is the door of the tent with my 2 zippers. I marked this side so that I know that this zipper matches up with this fold that we just made, just so we don't get anything confused. It's really easy to start sewing something if you don't have it marked, and you'll sew up the wrong thing in the wrong place and you'll have to cut it out and redo. So mark your stuff, make notes of what's what, and you can prevent some mistakes. I'm gonna hook my two ends together and do a little test zip. Awesome. Alright guys, check it out. Got one side in. Next thing I'm going to do is take the other side off, sew that other side of the zipper in, then we'll get it back on the tent. But I'm really happy with the way this is turning out. Alright, we have both our zippers in. We're ready to put the fabric back on the tent and test out our new door. Check it out, we got our first door installed on the tent. Man, this looks professional. Super happy with the way this turned out. This looks great. I'm just happy the zippers are straight. I thought they were going to be kind of all over the place. But that looks really good. Later on I'll figure out a way to hold all of the extra material up when it's up, and then maybe something along here to hold that the fabric to the edge when it's all zipped up. Other than that, I think this looks great. The next thing I'm going to do is figure out where we're going to put our doors on the sides of our tent. This is awesome. Alright, I got curious. I want to see how the tent will do. Here goes. Speeds right off. Alright guys, this is what I'm thinking so far. I think this will be the easiest thing to do right now. I've tried a couple different shapes and sizes, and I really wanted to do like a half moon style door here, but the idea of sewing in a zipper on that much of a curve, I just didn't. I think that's a little bit beyond my skill set at this point, but I think this one will be pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark a line on this tape. We'll take off this side of the tent and we'll make our cut, and everything's pretty much the same that we've done before, except this time we won't be doing a hidden zipper, because once we cut and then make our folds, we're going to have a big, gap, especially like once we do those folds along here on each side. So the idea is that the zipper itself will take up that space once we sew it in. But everything's pretty much the same. So I picked this just, I think it'll be a little bit easier for me and for you guys that aren't super great at this whole sewing thing. So yeah, I'm gonna get the side of the tent off and start working on sewing the zipper in. Alright, just did that in permanent marker, so there's no going back now. I'm gonna take this thing inside so I can stretch it across my floor so I can make a nice clean cut. Alright, we got our cut made. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our double-sided tape, and we're going to put tape on both sides of the fabric right on the edge as close as we can get it, all the way down. And then we're going to make a fold. We're going to make a tiny 1/4 inch fold just because we don't have much room. We don't have enough fabric to do much of a fold. So do that fold, and then we'll get our zipper. We'll put the tape on the zipper and put our zipper on. Oh, you're also going to need to flip your fabric over so that we can make the fold towards the inside of the tent and not the outside. Now that we made that fold, you can see this big gap we did here. We did a 1/4 inch fold on each side, so that gives us about a 1/2 inch gap. So what I'm going to do is when I unzip this, I measured, and if you see this, like this thread change, the way this is put together, between this edge right here and this edge right here is about half an inch apart from each other. So what I'll do is I'll take this edge and I'll line it up with this edge here when I glue it, or when I use my tape to stick it to my edge. That way I know I have a good 1/2 inch gap filling the gap that we made, and it'll fill it really nicely. So the next thing to do is get our tape on our zipper just like we've done before, and just line it up with that edge. I flip my fabric back over, and what I'm going to do is I'll peel my tape off, and then I'll align that edge right with the edge of our double-sided tape, just so I can do it really accurately, because I have the tape placed right where I want it, and it would be hard to see from the other side. So I'm just going to come through here from the top, and as I stick it, I'm going to line it up just right on the edge so I can control this gap better. Alright, our zipper is in place. So now you can kind of get an idea what we're trying to go for. There is this one little area right here that might be a little bit of trouble, but what we can do when we get to this point is do like a little pinch here. We'll take in some of that, do a pinch on that zipper. That'll kind of take in some of that that space that's causing this to bunch up. But other than that, it looks really good. I might actually put some pins in along with that tape just to make sure it holds in place until I can get this completely sewn together. Sometimes that tape wants to come apart before I can get it to the sewing machine. So, but this looks really good. I'm really hoping that once I get it back on the tent, it'll still look really nice. But well, I guess we're about to see. For this stitch, I am going to have the exterior side of the tent facing up. This will just allow me to follow this edge really closely as I stitch. If you have it the other way with the inside facing upwards, you can't really see where you're going because your piece is underneath and you're stitching on top of this black here. So if you have your exterior up, you can follow on this edge, go really slowly, and it'll look really nice. Alright guys, I am happy. Check it out. This looks awesome. I don't know about you, but I am really happy about that. Let's see if I can zoom in. I think that looks really good. I hope it works out on the tent. Next thing I'm going to do is get this thing back on the tent and see how she does. Let's keep our fingers crossed on this one. I hope this works out. You approve? Yep. All right, guys, check it out. We got the first door in the side. This is awesome. Man, this is a huge win. I'm super excited about this. It looks really good. Ah. It works great. This is just my excess I just need to cut off. But this makes for a huge door. All I gotta do now is transfer that to the other side and we'll almost be done with this. All right, there are a few final touches I want to put on our fabric while I have it off, putting in that last zipper. I had some 1-inch webbing laying around my shop. So what I'm thinking is I might sew in some 1-inch webbing around the perimeter of the entire tent. What that'll do is it'll hide any mistakes that we've made in our fabric down here, and it'll also strengthen up that top. And I actually might do that the same thing along the top edge so that the top and the bottom are both like really stout where we're pinning it to the actual hard shell. And then the other thing I want to do is I want to add in a skirt here. So probably like a 4-inch piece of material that'll go around the entire base. That'll just protect from any rain getting in the tent. And then also an overlap piece of fabric, probably another like 3 or 4 inches that goes on top of the zipper. So I would sew along this top and it would just be an overlap to protect it from any rain. So those are a few things I'm contemplating doing off camera, and but I'll show them to you once they're done. So. Alright guys, let me explain what I did off camera. If you followed along this far, this stuff should be super easy for you. So what I did across here was I added in that 1-inch webbing. That just hides that first hem that we did, adds some strength to where we attach it to the base. Really simple, I just laid it across the fabric and then just did 2 stitches through here. And then the next thing I did was I took, to make the skirt, I got like a 4-inch piece of ripstop, and then I added this black strip here. This is just to make it look good, but what I did was I took a piece of black ribbon, I overlaid it halfway, so it kind of stuck out like that. I did a stitch, and then I just rolled it over, did another stitch. It took a lot of time, but it made the tent look a lot better, I think. And then the way I attached it to the tent was I actually sewed it upside down. So I flipped it up like this. I butted the raw edge up to this webbing, and then I just did 1 simple stitch all the way down, all the way around the tent. And then when you flip it over, you get this really nice clean seam right here that looks like really good. The next thing I did was I took another strip, about another 3 or 4 inch strip. I added that ribbon to it like I did down here, and then I laid it across my zipper. Now this isn't a straight piece. I cut the piece of ripstop to be in this shape so that hopefully it would lay flatter. But so yeah, I added that ribbon to it, and then I just laid it across and then sewed it right on top. I didn't flip it upside down like I did down here. I just simply laid it across, used our basting tape to stick it to the tent, and then did a single stitch right here. So this is just to keep our zipper protected. Hopefully keep the rain off of it. So the next thing I'm going to show you is how I did the awning. Alright guys, our fabric work is mostly done. There's just one last thing I want to try to do to complete the fabric work. I want to try to build an awning for this thing. I think it'd just be a cool feature to do. Now I really want the tent to be sealed and waterproof without the awning, but I just thought it'd be a cool thing to try to add to the tent. And if it doesn't work out or if it doesn't function the way I want to, I'll just take it off. But I still want to work through like how I would do that. Now I started the project with 10 yards of fabric, and what I have left, I only have about 11 feet of fabric left that I've put up on the tent, and we're using every bit that I have to try to make this awning. So what I've done is I've put the raw edge, just taped it along the perimeter of the top of our frame here. And so what I'm thinking is an awning, something like that. It'll create kind of a right angle. Thinking a right angle between here and here to create our awning. And then we'll cut away the fabric. So I'm thinking something like that. And we use like some flexible poles to hold it out and away from the tent. But I want to go this route because I don't want to have to sew anything together. I want to use just like one solid piece of fabric. So that's why I have it mocked up this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to mark a line across here. A straight line across here and then the front and all the way around. We'll cut on that line. We'll do a hem and then we'll put it back in place and see if it works out. Then we'll have to find some rods to like kind of hold it taut. So that's what I'm thinking for now. All right, we got our fabric cut to size. Did my little ribbon trick up here just to give it like a clean look. And I sewed on these little ring tabs to hook the our little rods to hold this taut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fabric down. I'll put our awning up and then screw back in the fabric along the top edge. And I really hope this works. I have not tried this. Just don't know if it's going to do right, but we're about to see. So. Alright guys, the awning's on. It looks really good. I found this 1/8 inch rod at Lowe's and I've just bent it around and then put some little hooks on the edge so that it will fit on our loops that we made. So what I'm going to end up doing is drilling 1/8 inch holes in our base at just the right angle. I'm just going to find that angle where it kind of pulls the awning tight in the right direction and try to drill it. And just see if that works. What I'll probably end up doing in the future is drilling a little bit larger hole, putting a sleeve in there, like a metal sleeve, so that it protects like that hole a little bit better, so it doesn't start to like, you know, waller out the wood. But anyway, next thing I'm going to do is drill our holes and get our rods put in place. Alright guys, check it out. The awning is on. This looks awesome. I'm hoping it's functional. I hope it actually works. But I end up doing 2 rods here. I don't know if you can see that. This rod right there too. And this one back here. So that it pulls it out this way and out to the side. So that you get this good awning. Only part I'm worried about is right in here, the rain collecting right in this curve. So I'm not sure if we'll have to put like a grommet, like a drip grommet right here so that it'll just drip. But other than that, this looks really nice. I'm excited. Came out a lot better than I thought it would. Alright guys, that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Super pleased with what we've gotten done, and I could not be happier with the way this thing is turning out. It just looks awesome, and I just can't wait to get it out and try it. I mean, I hate to say it, but we're nearing the end of this build. And the next thing we got to do is we're going to get it ready for paint. We'll do all the paint work and then mount all the hardware so that we can attach it to the roof rack. And then we'll be pretty much done. So I'm really getting excited about this. I want to remind you guys, please follow the link in the description to the Facebook group. I know it might take some time to grow this community, but I think it's the best way to help you guys out that are really wanting to build these things. So, you know, I'm just one guy, and I know I don't know everything there is to building these things, but I think if we can grow a community, we can all help each other out to make better and better rooftop tents. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Y'all please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.